The Grinch makes an appearance at the Mosconi Cup. SVB enters the Hall of Fame. Christina Tkach wins a world title. And the International features a three-peat. All that and more right here, right now on Billiards Digest Live.
Welcome to a not very festive holiday edition of Billiards Digest Live. I'm Mike Pinozzo, and this not so jolly soul is Jason Bowman. Jason, I feel like I waited all year in anticipation of Christmas, and then at the last minute someone told me there is no Santa Claus.
Yeah, bah humbug, right? I feel like I had a couple pints of the Christmas spirit drained from my soul watching what transpired down there in Orlando.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're talking about the Mosconi Cup, and despite being more nice than naughty, American pool fans got coal in their stockings once again this year. The scene at the Caribe Royale Convention Center last weekend was electric, with more than 2,500 fans rolling into Orlando for the 31st edition of the Mosconi Cup. It was far and away the largest Mosconi Cup to date in the U.S., and the American fans were more than ready. This was going to be the year for Team USA, with seasoned, solid, and well-performing USA squad ready to take on a slightly undermanned Team Europe, which was playing without banished star Josh Filler and was coming off an 11-6 thrashing at the hands of Team Asia in the first Reyes Cup. The stage was set. The year's most anticipated event in pool, the Mosconi Cup, is all about national pride, bragging rights, and theatrics. In the 2024 Cup, did not disappoint. The jam-packed arena produced deafening noise levels with fans singing and screaming their way through the days, creating an atmosphere like no other. But despite the partisan crowd being primed and in full throat, day one of the Mosconi Cup got off to a rocky start for Team USA, with Team Europe rolling to lopsided wins in the opening team match and first doubles matchup, highlighted by Jason Shaw's brilliant jump bank. But Tyler Steyer got the U.S. on the board with a singles win, and after another doubles loss, Team USA actually closed the opening day with another singles win, this time Skylar Woodward throttling Tkach to close out the day, trailing just 3-2. Jason, what did you think?
Yeah, well, it certainly started off familiar with Team USA down 2-0 very quickly, and that's a pattern that we've seen
in one-sided matches, 5-1 and 5-2 in the first two matches.
Yeah, and you know that's a pattern we've seen over the last several years with Team USA that digs themselves an early hole. But you know, I got to say, when Tyler Steyer came up in that third match, brought back really fond memories of that 2018 Cup at Alexandra Palace when they were down 2-0, and he came back against Niels Feijen, and so I thought, here we go. Maybe this is where we build the comeback. And, of course, then they go on to drop the next match. But Sky, like you said, closes out on day one, picks up a big point in singles competition, which is always a good sign.
Right.
And, you know, I felt okay after day one. You know, you're down one, you're in it. You know, you ended on a good note, which I think was a big deal. And so I still felt hopeful and optimistic after that first day.
Yeah, no, there were some good things that happened there. The Tyler Steyer match was very important. You know, I always say you need to get a couple of points out of your number 4 and 5 guys. You can't rely on your 1, 2, and 3 for every point. So Tyler got one on his own, beating Mickey Krause. That was great. Skylar came up big at the end of the day, gave everybody the big emotional boost. So yeah, they were trailing after day one, but I think everybody felt like they were in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I slept well that first night. I slept okay.
Day two saw the Americans open with the team win to tie the overall score, a win which was punctuated by Billy Thorpe, Team USA's controversial final wildcard selection, authoring back-to-back highlight reel shots, first kicking in the 2-ball and following that up with a no-doubt bank shot with position en route to a rack win. Europe's excitable captain, Jason Shaw, dominated Federer-Gorst in singles to allow Team Europe to regain the lead, but Team USA quickly retied the match thanks to the duo of Steyer and Thorpe, who squeaked by Shaw and Mickey Krause in the event's first hill-hill match. Trailing 5-4 overall, the Americans were in prime position to send the Mosconi Cup into day 3 tied 5-5, but the duo of Gorst and Woodward missed a golden opportunity up 4-3 to close out their match against Tkach and David Alcade, then looked on helplessly as Gorst scratched on the break in the deciding game to allow the Euros to enter day 3 with an important 2-game advantage. Jason, that was a killer.
Yeah, that day 2 was a little bit of a day of false hope, we'll say. You know, everything started so well. Win the team match, suddenly we're tied. Then we're down again. Then we're tied again. And then it was that match, you know, at the end of the day when, you know, I think it was Alcade missed the 6 ball.
Correct.
You know, guy comes to the table, pockets the 6 very quickly, but bad position. You know, and they were up 4-3 at the time.
Right.
Looked like they would, you know, had a chance to run out. I think Federer played maybe a safety that wasn't so great, and you know, next thing you know, Team Europe takes the point, and we're down 2 at the end of day 2. And I felt like that was probably a pretty big turning point in the overall Mosconi Cup. It just
that was a gut
seemed
punch.
like it was there for the taking. Yeah, gut punch is probably a great way to describe it. And so after day 2, I certainly did not feel as optimistic and hopeful as I had at the end of day 1. I started feeling like, you know, this could be one of those snowball type situations.
Yeah, it was difficult because you know, even the match before that last match of the day when it was tied, Shane Van Boening.
Yeah.
We all had great hopes for him coming in here, and he got run over by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 5-1. And then the match with Sky and Federer, which was, you know, a really devastating thing. So, you know, you really looked at it like you could be up, you know, 2 at the end of the day instead of down 2, or at very worst tied up.
Yeah.
And I think every fan obviously, and Matchroom and Sky Sports were all hoping for 5-5 going into day 3, because then it's game on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought anything could happen on day 3, and I know we'll get into that, but just I felt like some of the momentum, some of the air kind of left the building in that 5th match on day 2.
Yeah, it was a wasted opportunity, and those you don't get too many of those to give away.
Not in the Mosconi Cup, not in a race to 5.
Well, as has been the case in recent years, Team Europe dominated day 3 to build an almost insurmountable lead. For the second straight day, Team USA actually opened with the team win to narrow the overall score to 6-5, despite the histrionics of Europe's Shaw, who savors every opportunity to antagonize the home crowd. And the Americans appeared poised to retie the match in a doubles match with Van Boening and Woodward paired against struggling rookie Mickey Krause and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. But as so often the case in the short race Mosconi Cup, match favorites often find themselves on the wrong side of the score sheet, as Van Boening and Woodward did, losing 5-1. From there, the Euros put their foot on the gas pedal, winning the next 2 matches to head into the final day with a comfortable 9-5 lead. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you're right. That doubles pairing of SVB and Sky going against Krause and FSR, I mean, looked very favorable on paper.
It did.
And it was anything but for Team USA, and that was kind of where that snowball really started moving. You know, it was, like you said, it was all downhill from there, and you know, it was twice the gut punch that losing that 5th match had been on day 2. On day 3 when they dropped that doubles match, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah, they got steamrolled toward the end there. Billy Thorpe lost his singles match against David Alcade. You know, the air was definitely out of the room at that point.
It went off the rails quickly. I mean, so quickly, in fact, that suddenly by the end of day 3, you know, Matchroom calls the day, cuts it short, a match.
Cut a match short.
Pushes it to
that's
Friday
kind of the common theme.
To the final day to fulfill the tickets and the TV contracts and all those things. But, you know, that's a pattern that we've seen over the years when Team USA kind of takes it in the teeth, is Matchroom's got to push matches to the final day just to stretch out the event. And you had hoped after the first 2 days that wasn't going to happen, but you know, after that team win, that first match on day 3, it was just all downhill, and it was downhill fast.
Yeah, it was. It was. There was pretty much no fight back, it felt
Yeah.
like. Any hopes of a miracle comeback were quickly dashed on day 4 when MVP Shaw demolished a snake-bit Woodward 5-0 in the first match, a match in which the American captain broke dry once and saw the cue ball kicked into a pocket on 2 other break shots. The second match pitted Gorst against rookie Kraus. The reigning world champion, having played well below his standard, nearly squandered a 4-0 lead before staving off the inevitable after Kraus called a foul on himself in the deciding rack just 5 balls from being in position to pocket the cup-winning 9-ball. Gorst calmly cleaned up the remaining balls to avoid being shut out of individual points in his second Mosconi Cup with Team USA. In what would be the final match, Woodward produced a few highlights of his own in reaching the hill against Sanchez Ruiz. But the Spaniard, perfect in 4 singles and doubles matches, picked his way through the final rack and put the finishing touches on Team Europe's 11-6 victory, setting off a wild celebration for the Europeans in the Carib Convention Center. And you know, the Europeans jumping on the table, celebrating, that's something that we're getting used to see at the Mosconi Cup, right?
Yeah, it's frustrating, it's disappointing, and like you said at the outset, I mean, such high hopes this year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Fedor Gorst, probably the best player of the year, player of the year discussion for sure.
Slam dunk winner.
You've got Josh Filler not on the roster, you know. You've got the American crowd. You've got Orlando for the first time. It just seemed like things were all lining up in favor of Team USA to pull this upset, and it just didn't materialize. And frankly, I mean, it wasn't that close. I mean, once again, it wasn't that close.
Yeah.
First couple days, you know, day 1 obviously was, day 2 a little further, and then after that, it just was kind of done.
Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers from the Mosconi Cup this year. We see the total number of racks, 126, with Europe winning 58%. And USA 42%, which is pretty indicative of the way the way it all went. Individually, Tyler Steyer, Billy Thorpe brought in a couple of points, which is what you want out of those 4 and 5 guys. But as you look at that,
You see those zeros,
the middle
in the doubles
3,
column,
all those
yeah.
zeros, 0 for 3, you know, for Skylar Woodward in doubles, for Fedor Gorst in doubles, for Shane Van Boning 0 and 2. Sky won a singles match, Fedor won a singles match, but combined, the 3 of them lost 4. So that, you know, those players that you need to win, you know, and it's hard to say they're supposed to win because it's a race to 5, anything can happen, but, you know, over time, you think you're going to get your fair share of wins, and we're just not getting them.
And it's so baffling. I mean, you expect that a player like Fedor Gorst or Shane or even Sky, who's been at times just fantastic in the Mosconi Cup, are going to produce, but it just didn't materialize that way.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, you know, they were either a non-factor or they just were not good.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, it was really Tyler Steyer and Billy Thorpe, arguably kind of the 2 best players Team USA had this year.
Yeah,
you know, Sky had a good day 1, but after that, it was not so good for him either.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're not going to pull that kind of upset over Team Europe when those guys don't produce. And it's really hard to understand. I mean, this is only Federer's 2nd year with Team USA. You know, he's a younger player. Maybe that'll turn around in time. But, you know, we've talked many times about Shane and how he performs at the Mosconi Cup. I don't understand it. I don't know why he is not better in that particular arena, given his success everywhere else. But, you know, it's no longer a small sample size. It's obvious.
No, it's pretty large.
He does not perform well in the Mosconi Cup. He's had his moments. Obviously, 2018, the 2-9 combo to win it was a big one. But, you know, when you look at the body of work, it's just not
not impressive.
It's just not a good. And it's, you know, a great player. But when it comes to the Mosconi Cup, it's just not there. And it's frustrating as a fan of Team USA. I was telling you that this is the first stateside Mosconi Cup I have not been to since 2011. And part of that was, it fell out right after the holiday,
Right.
the Thanksgiving holiday here in the States. And so that played a part, but you know, I also wanted to kind of be a little more detached because I feel like every year there's this
Tired
great
of
hope.
investing that emotion
I thought
into it.
last year they had a great opportunity as Federer joins the team, and you know, and they lose 11-3, and here we are back to the same place, and
Yeah.
it's just uber frustrating because these are the same guys. You know, these are primarily the same guys that have been around now on this team since 2017-ish.
Right.
And there's no one else on the horizon. It's going to be these guys next year. And so
there just doesn't seem to be any progress either.
Yeah, there's nothing seems to have really changed. If anything, they've regressed in a lot of ways. And it's hard to be hopeful. I mean, I love the Mosconi Cup. It's a great environment, fun time. But at the end of the day, I want my team to win. Otherwise, it's a dud for me, frankly. And it just, you go back over the last 18 years, Team USA has lost 15 times now in 18 years. 15 times. On average, in those losses, 5.53 points each. I mean, so they're being bested 2-1 in every one of those losses.
Yeah.
It's just become so lopsided. And again, if there were guys knocking on the door ready to come in and make a difference, I might feel differently. But when you look at it and you look at the future,
you're probably looking at the same five.
These five guys got to look in the mirror and dig a little deeper and find something different because what they're doing is not working.
Yeah.
At all. At all. And really the only difference I can go back to, I mean, Johan Reisink, 2018, 2019. I mean, I don't know if that's the one element that maybe could be changed. I don't know, but it's just...
It's the only common denominator to winning.
It's just not working. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So.
We can look at the European stats as well, and Jason Shaw was MVP. He won 2 doubles, 2 singles matches. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz didn't lose a match other than being part of the team matches, winning 2 doubles and 2 singles. Tkach, 3-0 in doubles play.
Yeah.
David Alcade, 2-0 in doubles play, 1-0 in singles play. He didn't lose a match either. Mickey Krause, a little spotty for his rookie debut, but when you're supported by that type of cast with those type of results, you can get away with that. And
their heavy hitters carry the team. I mean, and that's what you needed out of our guys, and it just didn't happen. And Jason Shaw, I mean, he's the player you love to hate. He's a great heel for in that environment if you're an American fan, but he thrives in that particular event, unlike anyone. I mean, the way he plays to the crowd, and he's not afraid to kind of put it all out there, which always amazes me. I'm always waiting for these guys to celebrate a little too early and then miss a shot.
He went out every day and encouraged the crowd to get louder.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted more
he's blowing
heat.
kisses to the crowd when they're booing him, and
he loves the heat, and that makes him play better. He missed a couple of key shots here and there, but ends up getting away with them. But he's he loves that environment, and I'm sure he wishes that every event during the year had that type of crowd and that type of crowd rooting against him because he really feeds off it.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, just a strong showing by Team Europe. I mean, Mickey Krause, the rookie, could have had a little bit better of an event, but overall, when your top performers perform, you can carry a guy that isn't, and that's what happened here, and it was all good for Team Europe and all bad for Team USA, unfortunately.
Well, following the conclusion of the Cup, we got to catch up with several key players, including both captains, to get their reactions. Tell me about making that last 9-ball, getting through that last rack, what you were hearing from the crowd, all the pressure. How did it feel?
I mean, I feel unbelievable because so much loud outside. I mean, I couldn't see I couldn't hear the shot clock because everyone was screaming. So I was to focus on the table and focus on the time because I didn't hear anything, to be honest. So they tried everything, but finally I break and ram. It was a tough break. It was a tough ram because the 2 balls was so close to the pocket. So the time passed so quickly, so you don't have time so thinking about it. But finally I break and run, so when I have the 9 ball, it was straight into the side pocket, but it was difficult because the moment, he'll for the Team Euro win, so it's something that I never forget in my life.
What was the atmosphere like compared to your other 2 events?
I mean, the crowd makes the difference, I mean, I think this crowd is bigger than the last year when I played in Ali Pali because it was so loud. Even when you shoot, they scream, so that's very difficult, but I mean, it's always the same, I mean, I really like this atmosphere because, especially here in US, because nobody cheer for you. Like, you have only many like 20, 30 Europeans, but it's amazing feeling, when when I was young, I always dreamed to make Mosconi team and to make the 9 ball for win. So today come true.
So tell me how much it means to you to be captain this year, and what the pressure was like, and what the added responsibility was like, and how much more gratifying that made this for you.
Yeah, it was obviously being a player and a captain at the same time. I knew it was going to be tough. I don't think there's been a player captain since 2002, I believe. I think someone said that to me from Matchroom, so I know that's been a long time. So to be the captain of the player, it feels like a special moment for me in my life. You know, I've won the Mosconi Cup before, like 6 times, and obviously being a captain, it's been a lot more stressful leading up to it because, you know, usually I'm focused on myself, going to the gym, doing whatever I need to do to get myself prepared. But now I've got to make sure I'm calling these guys on different time zones, make sure they're doing the right things, practicing and not like messing about, because I think the guys that have been in the team understand it. Overall, I feel it's been a great time with the team. We've done a lot of good things, spent a lot of time together, and overall, I think what I've done and what we've put into it over the last 10 days has paid off, and extremely proud of them.
Atmosphere here this year seemed wilder than ever.
Incredible. I never heard any noise like that before. It was just insane. But again, that's what the Mosconi Cup's all about, and I absolutely love every single moment of it. And I just want to thank every single American fan, every European fan that came to watch. You were incredible, and the Mosconi Cup wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you again.
Man, the experience was honestly unbelievable and unforgettable. I'll never forget it. The guys were great. It's been a great 2 weeks with these guys. I've learned every day more and more about all of them. And I'll stick to what we did. I think we did everything we could, and it just didn't work out the way I felt like with the lineups that it should. But it is what it is. It happened. I'm super happy with the guys and how it all played out. Either way, win or lose, I'm very happy.
What did you learn about yourself, and what did you learn about them?
I learned a lot about myself also. I learned that I could take on the more pressure and of being in more roles of being captain and everything. And the guys, you know, me, it's I'm not a coach like that. I can't tell them, hey guys, let's do this, let's do that, here, let's work on this, work on that. I'm just the captain. They know what to do. They do it week to week. I just did my part, setting up the lineups and setting up everything. And I talked to everybody also to make sure it was good, make sure everybody was comfortable when they were playing, where they were playing, who they were playing with. And I feel like I did everything I could to win. And forever, I will always say I feel like if we played this in this environment 5 weeks straight, I think we would win 3 of them. I'll say it forever.
As far as being captain, something you want to do again next year?
Oh, I would love to do it again.
Reaction to some of those comments?
Yeah, well, obviously FSR had a fantastic tournament. Jason Shaw got MVP, but FSR was certainly in that conversation. Went basically undefeated in his matches aside from the team match. I liked hearing Jason Shaw thank the fans because I know they give it to him and he gives it back, and it's, you know, again, he's the guy you love to hate, but at the end of the day, he respects the fact that event is so great because of the fans, and you know, and so I thought that was kind of a nice show of sportsmanship, if you will.
Yeah. Didn't seem too impressed with Sky's responses.
I wasn't thrilled with Sky's responses. I mean, I certainly have respect for what he did as a captain, but you know, if we were to play 5 times, we'd win 3 times. I don't see that, and you know, doing everything we could do, I don't see that. I mean, if that's it, if you've done everything you can do, then I have no hope for next year. I mean, what I'd like to hear there is we really got to evaluate ourselves. We really got to look in the mirror and see what can we do more. You know, how can we be better? Because what we've done is not enough. Obviously, you've lost 15 of 18, and I know that
5 in a row.
I know he's not been there, but he has been there for the last 5. And again, I'm not putting this all on Sky, but tough questions have got to be asked by that team. Something drastic has to change. It can't just be roll out and do the same things and hope for a better result, because definition of insanity, right, is doing that very thing. And so I hope that he and the rest of the team will reflect a little bit more on it and say, you know, what can we do different? I mean, if you look back to 2018, they hadn't won in like 8 or 9 years at that point. You know, they go to London, they isolate themselves. I think Sky at the time talked about he stopped drinking. You know, they weren't around the fans at night. They were kind of
dialed in.
They shut it down. They were in bunker mode. Obviously, you had Johan and doing some things earlier on, and so I'm not sure those are the necessary steps that have to be taken, but it has to be different. It can't just be, oh, we got the bad rolls, oh, we got unlucky on the break, oh, because it's 15 of 18 years. It's not, you know, you make your own luck when you take advantage of opportunities. How many times do we see, not just this year, but in the past, you know, Team USA is controlling the table, right? They play a mediocre safety. Team Europe steps up, plays a better safety. Now Team USA is chasing the object ball around the table. Team Europe wins the point. I mean, that happens time and time again, and it's so frustrating to see, and I know it's frustrating for them too. They obviously don't like to lose, but big changes are necessary to overcome the deficit in what's happening there, because you're being beaten 2-1 15 out of 18 years. Whatever's happening is not working.
Something's got to change.
And it's frustrating. I know I sound frustrated, but I am frustrated because I'm a Team USA fan. I want better, and I want to celebrate the victory, but I just, you know, I'm really tired of the narrative. Well, we did everything we could, and we just didn't get lucky enough.
If you did everything you could,
then like
then we've got bigger problems, because there can be more that's been done. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like. I think there has to be more accountability. There has to be, you know, more of a game plan, more of a business plan for getting something accomplished, whether that's a 9-month, 12-month, or 8-day window before the Cup. But something's got to change.
I agree. I don't know what that something is, but it's certainly got to change, because I'd like to see us break this pattern. I will say, you know, we've won 3 in 18 years, so maybe next year like 1 in 6 years, but. You know, again, there's nobody on the horizon for Team USA that's,
you're looking at the same
going to
team
kick in the door
forward.
and make huge changes. And again, Tyler Steyer and Billy Thorpe weren't the problem here.
Correct.
And so to me, because that's really the only spots you may see change, those lower spots, although Tyler's been a fixture now for several years. So, you know, again, I had no problem with the bottom part of that lineup. It was the big three that just didn't produce.
Right. Well, we also had an opportunity to glean some insight from Matchroom pool boss Emily Frazier about the future of the Mosconi Cup, and also about who might face Team Asia next year in the Reyes Cup.
I don't know.
Assess this year.
Assess this year, okay. USA were a lot better than I thought they were going to be. I actually loved Skylar as captain. And I think that everyone thought that he wasn't going to do a great job of it, because obviously there's so much responsibility. Like, Jason kind of didn't show it, but a couple of weeks leading up to, he was stressed out. Like, he was blowing up my phone, stressed out. Skylar also was a little bit, but I think that he's really made his country proud with how he's been this week. Like, he has been so mature, so responsible. And he got the team together when he needed to. Listen, I know that they lost, but that aside, he's done phenomenal. And so I think, first of all, saying a hats off to him, because he really impressed me. And then I actually think also on the other side, Jason did a phenomenal job. The both of them actually were brilliant, and it's quite nice for them to have a bonus.
Yeah, of course. The atmosphere in there was crazy loud. It's now U.S. crowds matching European crowds in terms of size and dominance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was probably 90% U.S. fans in there this year, and they were out of control loud. You know, some people think too loud. Some people think obnoxious or whatever.
No.
But is that integral to maintain with the Mosconi Cup?
I think it's just, you look at the darts, and like, I've seen someone with jug of beer, pour it over their whole head, whilst someone's like finishing a leg sort of thing. It'd be easy to look at that and go, is that a bit too much sort of thing? So I understand that there's a line and things, and, you know, Marcel and I talk about it a lot, as in when the players are down on the shot and things like that. And if the players come and complain to us, then we always try and do something about it. But the players also embrace it themselves. Listen, when USA were going crazy and, you know, Team Europe are going, oh, come on, you know, this is a bit much, but it still flips.
Of course, I've been to Europe.
You know, on the TV screen when they do the split screen, and it's like the two players in their corners. I can't wait to do a split screen of the worst USA sharking and then the worst London one. I'm going to do that next year just to show who's actually worse. Just do like a 30-minute, 30-second click. Oh, it's 100% London. Yeah. The London, because it's like in the evening, I feel like they get more drunk quicker. And whereas like day one, they started and it was like chill, and then you could tell the alcohol kicked in and it was like, whoa. And then Sunday, it was like they'd all been drinking from 6 a.m. and then they'd come in at 1 o'clock. It was Sunday, the second day, was the best day of the Mosconi Cup I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah. I had day one. I was like, wow, how the hell do you beat that? We finished 3-2. Everyone's like, are we starting the day with 4 matches? Are we starting with this? Oh, we got to start with 4 matches, you know, no, we're going out with 5 matches. Let's start confident. Let's give Team USA, you know. And I remember going into the practice room, Skylar was coming out last. And he was just like, no, I'm cool. Like, I'm good sort of thing. I think that was on day 2. I'm getting so confused. But I just think that the atmosphere it just builds it all. And, you know, whether you think it's too much or it isn't, it's the Mosconi Cup.
But do you foresee sticking with player captains going forward? And does that kind of pigeonhole you a little bit? Because you've got like a Jason and a Skylar, you know, who would be alternates to them? So, you know, or does this become an annuity for them as player captains? So, you know, have you thought that through?
Not really, no. I don't think a lot through now, joking. I think that one thing I love about the player captains is that, and it's no disrespect to anyone who's captained as just a captain role, but I'm going to be real brutal honest. The players are everything. And I think that it's better to reward the players rather than a non-playing captain. It gives us more gratification being able to reward those players more. They've put in more work, so they should be rewarded. And as playing captains, it's like, I personally think, look, I don't play pool, but I'm not silly. I personally think that in order to really talk about what you've got to do out there, you've got to know how it feels to play out there. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who's trying to captain a team that hasn't done that in like 2 or 3 years, they can't. Yeah, they are, because this arena is a beast. You know, if I'm Tyler Steyer, Fedor, or Billy, or it's a bit different with Shane, and you're out there and you're 4-0 down and you've got a captain like Skylar who knows what it's like to be 4-0 down out there, that's who I want in my corner.
Right.
So, and I just think that it works because they should be rewarded. And we want to make these guys celebrities. We want to increase their profiles. We want to do all of that. And it's just like you see like Jason Shaw soaking this up as the captain. Too fucking right. He should be soaking it up. He's put in the hard graft. He's an incredible player and he's an incredible ambassador for the Moscone Cup. I love that he's soaking that up. He's got the MVP and he's the playing captain. He's just done all of that. And then on the flip side, you've got Skylar Woodward, who, yes, lost the cup, but he actually put out a really impressive performance as a captain. That's raised his profile. Yeah. So in my opinion, I would much rather be doing that for the players on our tour because that's their future. And we should be raising their profiles. They are everything to us. And I'll always protect them and I'll always keep them under our wing. And personally, that's how I feel about playing captains.
So there's bound to be more discussion on social media about Team USA not being up to the task and why bother and how do they should play someone else. What is your response to that?
I'd say watch day 1 and day 2 and say kind of, I think they were different this year. It's easy for me to say that, but they were different. Their energy was different. Even Shane was different the first couple of days. Listen, just Europe is so used to dominating this event. Maybe put USA in the league of going against Asia. See how they perform against them. Give them something different.
I was going to go there next, but that's a really good segue into who's going to play Team Asia next year.
It's a really good question, Mike. Not sure. Maybe if I down this margarita, I'll tell you. But do you know what I mean? It's
yes,
like,
of course.
I think someone said it on the press conference, or Carl maybe said it in one of our preview shows, that Europe are so used to dominating this event. And yeah, it was hard even on like home soil here, but I feel a lot less disappointed and that sounds awful, in Team USA from this year, because I don't think that they let anyone down.
No, I would agree with that. Interesting comments from the Matchroom boss lady.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some future insight on that Reyes Cup, but again, I know she said, when it comes to Team USA, look at day 1 and day 2. Okay, but they still lost day 1 and day 2.
Maybe they can reduce the Mosconi Cup to a 2-day tournament.
Yeah, well, I mean, they still lose though. They lose 6-4.
Well, yeah, but if you lose 6-4, it doesn't sound as bad as 11-6.
I will say,
just looking for some hope here.
I know,
just looking for a silver lining.
And hats off to Matchroom, because the event itself, incredible. I mean, and it's you look at where it's come in the United States in particular. I mean, it's been great in Europe for a long time, but I mean, that crowd was something else. I mean,
and it
people
was
all
90.
decked
It was
out,
95% U.S. fans, which
Yeah.
is very different than earlier years in the U.S.,
Yeah.
where you were maybe 60-40, 70-30. But the U.S. fans were out in full force. They were the ones who gobbled up all the tickets right out of the gate, and they were there, and so they still love the event, and it is a tremendous event. And I don't want to hear anybody on social media ever again say, U.S. just isn't competitive. They should call off the Mosconi Cup. Tell Matchroom that.
Yeah, right.
They filled that arena for 4 days with almost
right.
3,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen.
and the European viewers don't mind the outcome. Believe
No,
me.
they
So,
don't.
It's again, Matchroom did their job. The fans did their job.
Team Europe did their job.
Team Europe did their job. It's just
3
our
out of
team
4 ain't bad.
Yeah, it's, and I understand what she's saying about the playing captains and wanting to reward them, but I'll go back to the only difference Team USA has seen in the last 15 years or whatever it is Johan Reisink.
Yeah.
And maybe we're overestimating the difference he could potentially make, but
It's only one way to find
It's the
out.
only thing I can look at and say this is what was different.
Yeah.
He had them prepared. He had them mentally tough, and they did it in back-to-back years against a team that Josh Filler was on. And
Yeah.
so I guess I had hoped that maybe there would be some consideration there. It doesn't sound like that's probably going to be the case.
No, it may not, but I don't think that means that that's an impossibility. I think that how about this first scenario? Matchroom just they're not going to pay a non-playing captain. They like the captaincy roles, things like that. I don't mind that. So why doesn't Team USA, spend some time, getting sponsorship through the industry or whatever it is, to have Johan as their coach during the year in prep for Mosconi Cup. I mean, maybe he can be in the background at the Mosconi Cup. Maybe he can't be on the floor, but he can be there, kind of, helping them through these matches. And the benefit before was that he had 8 months, 9 months to work with a team to get him ready.
Yeah.
Well, as you pointed out, this team's not going to change much over the next 5 years. So
wouldn't expect
you pretty
it.
much he would know who he's dealing with as players already. Tomorrow, he knows who 3, maybe 4 of his 5 already is. So there's plenty of time to do that. I don't know. Is that float your boat at all? That work?
I mean, it works for me. I don't know that Team USA is in a position to organize or facilitate that? I know Federer and Tyler both have really strong relationships with Johan.
Yeah.
Maybe that could
Billy
happen.
Thorpe went with him to coach, earlier in the summer, right before he won the Battle of the Bull. So,
maybe.
there's potential there, and maybe it's something that the industry can rally behind. If we really want a Team USA to go forward, they could incorporate Team USA juniors into the program too, and have a whole training camp, developmental, whatever type of thing you would want. I think something like that would be a really cool element to put into a Team USA pool program going forward.
Yeah, the comments about the Reyes Cup were interesting too. I mean, the prospect of Team USA playing in that next year, I thought was probably out the window with the loss here. But from what she alluded to, I mean, she didn't say it, but she kind of hinted at it. Maybe they do get that opportunity next year. Maybe that helps them prepare. I don't know.
I think it's a smart play on a number of fronts from Matchroom. I think that you're trying to develop this Reyes Cup with Team Asia. You don't want it to be the same team every year anyways, but if you're waiting for Team USA to win, you could be waiting for a while. So, for the first 4 years, alternate. It's going to be in Manila for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about going to Europe 1 year, USA one. It's going to be in Manila for 5 years. Alternate years for the first 4 or 5 years. And let's see, if that helps build the event and if it also helps competitiveness. I mean, maybe the U.S. benefits from going over there and playing the Reyes Cup a month before, if they probably start a little bit earlier next year with the Reyes Cup, but, ahead of the Mosconi Cup, get them prepared, because I guarantee Team Europe benefited from going to Manila and putting in a subpar performance and getting thrashed like they did. And so I think that really woke them up and got them to really dial in for Orlando. Could that happen to Team USA? Possibly. It certainly helps to get some action in before the Mosconi Cup if you can.
Yeah,
as a team.
You go back to 18 and 19. They did play warm-up matches. They played Team Russia. Was it Team Russia in 18 and then Team
Europe
England or
and
Team UK the following year right before the Mosconi Cup? And, maybe that was a difference maker. So it's hard for me to imagine them going into the Philippines and being competitive against Team USA or against the Team Asia. But, again, for me, if it helps them prepare for what comes in late November, early December in the Mosconi Cup, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, have at it.
All for it.
Have at it. Well, just ahead of the Mosconi Cup, Captain America Shane Van Boening was formally inducted into the Billiard Congress of America Hall of Fame in the Greatest Player category. More than 300 fans, players, and industry leaders gathered for the annual banquet, which also saw room owner, promoter Mark Griffin, and another somebody elected into the Meritorious Service Wing of the Hall. The normally reticent Van Boening surprised the attendees with a heartfelt and entertaining acceptance speech that lasted more than 45 minutes. Jason, I don't know if any of us have ever heard Shane Van Boening speak for more than 5 minutes. I mean, ahead of the banquet, he told me he would probably talk for 15 minutes or so, and I thought, wow, you're going to talk for 15 minutes? But he got on a roll, and he wrote it out for almost an hour. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, when you said 45 minutes, I thought you misspoke and meant 45 seconds, because Shane is a man of very few words.
Yeah.
If you've ever talked to him, he does not say a lot. But I do want to go back a moment, because you kind of glossed over that third member of the induction class. Yours truly, Mike Pinozzo, being inducted as well. Look at that.
I
know
think
you got
the drawing
green
looks better than I
jacket
do.
and the plaque, and you got the ring. Or you got the ring on today,
Oh
right?
yeah, we're looking at a little bit of bling here.
There you go, Hall of Fame ring.
Yeah.
So a special night for you as well, right?
I don't wear bling a lot, but I will wear this, on my daily trips to Starbucks, because there's got to be some kind of discount for Hall of Famers at Starbucks. But it was a fantastic evening. It was a ton of fun. Shane was great. The banquet itself was great. My whole family was there, which was fantastic. And I got to spend some time. The great Terry Bell was in attendance as well, and Olivia was there. So it was great to be able to spend some time with them. And I tell people all the time that the BCA Hall of Fame banquet is the best night of the year in pool. And people who went this year saw why, because it gives these great players an opportunity to stand up there in front of all their fans and friends and family and talk about what the game means to them and talk about how they got where they got and the struggles they had and the achievements that those struggles led to. And you get more emotion and stories out of them that you've never heard before. It's really something special, and no greater example of that than this year with Shane Van Boening. And we will have an edited version of the entire banquet and all the speeches on YouTube in the next week or so. Nice. So I would encourage everybody to look for that and check it out, because it was pretty great. Yeah,
and I love seeing all the existing members of the Hall of Fame there, and they break out the green jackets, for the banquet, and it's just a special night. The fact that the public can actually buy tickets and be there for that and really interact with these folks. It is certainly a special night, and I'm very happy for you, as well as Mark Griffin and Shane, and
thank you.
Just a really outstanding Hall of Fame class this year. So you were part of a special group.
I was part of a special group. I rode along in the coattails of some big hitters. Well, despite what social media may have indicated, the Mosconi Cup wasn't the only event to take place in the past month. San Juan, Puerto Rico played host to a quartet of tournaments promoted by the Predator Pro Billiards Series, including the Women's World 10-Ball Championship and the Puerto Rico Open. The Women's World Championship featured the top 48 players in the world, including defending champion Tkach Centeno of the Philippines. But this edition of the championship was dominated by 25-year-old Christina Tkach, who, after a slew of top 4 finishes in 2023 and into 2024, finally broke through mid-year with a pair of WPBA Tour titles at the WPBA Iron City Invitational and the WPBA Rail Yard Invitational. In San Juan, Tkach rolled unbeaten to the title, topping Austria's Jasmine Ocean in the semifinals 3-1 in the best of 5 races to 4. In the title match, she was matched up against Seo Seo of Chinese Taipei, who was also looking for her first world title. In the finale, Seo took 2 of the first 3 sets, and at 3-3 in the 4th set seemed en route to the title until a positional error forced her to relinquish the table. Tkach pounced on the mistake to win the set, then eliminated any potential drama in the deciding set with a brilliantly played 4-0 win that included a delicate combination shot. After pocketing the final 2 balls, the overwhelmed Tkach dropped to the floor with relief. With the championship and its $50,000 top prize, Tkach matched fiancé and world 9-ball champion Federgorst in world titles in 2024. What a great picture of her. Here we get to see that Tkach and Seo were followed by Tkach Centeno and Jasmine Ocean, with junior world champion Sophia Mast of Florida finishing tied for 5th with Che-Yu Chao, Zhu Shen Wei, and Han Yu. Great event.
Yeah, outstanding young lady there, and her fiance's not so bad at pool either, is he?
No, you look at it, you've got this power couple. Yeah. One's a reigning world 9-ball champion, the other's a reigning world 10-ball champion now. So, and we did get a chance to catch up with the Russian-born champion following the title. So, Miss World Champion, tell me what that feels like.
Honestly, I still feel like I'm not there yet, realizing what happened, and maybe all those years, me imagining how I win and this and that, and it felt, in my mind, it should have felt a lot different than what it actually is, because actually my life has not changed.
You still have to do laundry and take out garbage.
Absolutely. I still have to take a shower, brush my teeth, Yeah. So it's just, obviously, how you say that in America, it's monkey off my shoulders.
Yeah, sure, monkey off your back, yeah.
Off my back, and it feels great to finally get this title, because for a long time I also felt like, yeah, I'm like one of the best and this and that, and like future world champion, I'll be world champion one day and this. But I was just like, I know that, I deserve this win because I put a lot of work in and, just generally did a lot of work like mentally and physically and everything. So I just didn't want to be one of, one of maybe one day winning world champion.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of like always felt that I wanted this title. I was craving for this title maybe too much. That's why it didn't come earlier for me. Because I thought if I win, the whole again life's gonna change, but nothing has changed, and it just feels.
But you're world champion. That's a
And I'm
nice
a world
change.
champion. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little star next to my name.
So it's on monkeys off your back. This year, you've gotten a lot of monkeys off your back.
Yeah.
You were finishing well last year, then this year, second, and it was time to break through. What is there anything that made the difference? Is there anything that, or was it just winning that first tournament?
You mean difference between what? What and what?
A difference in anything different with your game or your mental approach or anything that have allowed you to finally win?
Absolutely. Like as I said, I wanted to win so much I couldn't at some point, and then once I start saying whatever, I'll just go and I say just enjoy trying to play instead of trying to win. I just try to play and enjoy the game, and a lot of matches I've physically, consciously try to remind myself why I'm playing, not to win. But obviously, we all want to win. We're all competitive, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be a professional pool player. But it's about reminding yourself why you're doing it.
Why are
It's
you doing it?
for the joy, because I like the game. I like, coming up to the table and think about what is the right safety to play. What is this? So it's just basically it is a process. I know it sounds very simple. Enjoy the process instead of the result. It's all about the journey, not the destination. But for the whole year, I just tried to remind myself over and over again, every game I played, why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I love the game,
Yeah.
and then the result will follow. So I think it's a combination of me working, with like mental therapist, and trying to overcome those obstacles, first of all, in my brain, that allow me also to, improve certain areas in my game. For example, my safety games, I think, was one of the weakest part of my game. If you look at my pocketing, and obviously break, yeah, we're all struggling with the break, but if you look in any other areas of the game, I feel like I'm jumping a lot better than playing my safeties. So I feel like when I stopped focusing on winning and started to focus more on my actual game and things that I can improve to get better, I think combination of all of that, helped me to win. And obviously finishing deep in every single tournament and playing so many finals, I felt like, it's normal for me to play in the finals, even if it's a
Is
world
that what it
championship.
takes to finally win that final match, is to be in them enough time and know what the experience is like and know what it feels like, so that the next time you handle it differently or better? Or?
Well, for me, obviously, that was the case, because couple tournaments before, when I played my first finals, like even WPBA, I know it's just a women stop, but so many top players coming for this event. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like
very
a
tough
mini
fields.
world championships,
Yeah.
and Callie and Allison, and all those like players, and new generation like Savannah and Sophia, that already like stepping on your heels. That's what we're saying in Russia, right? So breathing right in my back.
Yeah.
It's very tough competition. So I felt like my first finals, I was so overwhelmed still, even though I played so many finals back in Europe, but it's just a little different. So I feel like by finishing so deep and playing in so many finals, even though I lost them, but
You learn.
I learned how to handle. I learned that, okay, if I'm going to lose, well, I've been there already. I know how it feels. So it didn't scare me anymore to lose. So I was just playing.
Yeah. Now that you've won the world championship, you try so hard to get to that top of the mountain, and now you've gotten there. How do you stay there?
I think just to keep doing what I did. Again, that's the trick. I don't feel like I've accomplished my career. I think I'm very ambitious. Obviously, me personally, and I've always been like this. So it's like winning one world championships would never be enough for me, because you come to the next tournament, nobody basically remembers that you just won a tournament. New tournament is like a whole
It's a
new
whole new
story.
start.
It's a whole new start. So for me, I just, I want to win as many as I can. Maybe be remembered somebody who won the most amount of world championships. So for me, it's staying there is just basically keep doing what I've been doing for the past couple years. It's nothing different. Just keep improving my game area by area.
It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Expect a lot of titles in the future from that young lady. The Puerto Rico Open, which flew under the radar of WPA sanctioning guidelines, was also contested in San Juan with 64 players on hand, including WPA World Number 1 Josh Filler and World 9-Ball Tour Number 1 Fedor Gorst on hand. But it was Ukraine's Vitaly Patsura who stole the show. The 27-year-old Patsura, who fled the Ukraine to the U.S. in 2022 and is in the process of securing a green card, which for now prevents him from playing in events overseas, made the most of the rare opportunity to compete in a major tournament. Patsura rolled through the single elimination portion of the event, topping Yunling Chang, Mika Immonen, who had defeated Filler, and Austria's Albin Auschen in the best of 3 set matches to reach the title match. Ironically, there he met best friend and Puerto Rico roommate Gorst, who had defeated Filipino Carlo Beato in the other semifinal. Patsura claimed his first big international title with a convincing 2-set win by scores of 4-1 and 4-2 to claim the $16,000 top prize. Patsura and Gorst were followed by Beato and Auschen in the final standings, with Greeks Alex Kazakis and Dimitrios Loukatos finishing tied for 5th with Mika Immonen and Kunlin Wu. We got a chance to sit down with the Puerto Rico Open champion to get his reaction to winning the title. So Vitaly, congratulations. Tell me about how important the win in Puerto Rico was for you.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, it was really important because, it's my first major event. I'm so happy to win it. Yeah, it means a lot to me.
It means it's got to mean more to you too, because you came to the U.S. a couple of years ago and you haven't been able to travel outside the country because you're worried about getting back into the country. And so you've had very limited opportunities. You can play in Derby, you can play in the U.S. Open, you can play in the International, but you can't travel abroad. You play, or Puerto Rico you can go to. So there's not so many opportunities. So is that more pressure on you to make the most of those opportunities?
Yeah, of course, because as you know, in US there is not many major events. So of course I had more pressure because of this. Yeah, and it was really tough mentally. Because I know that I don't have many chances to win major event in US. So yeah, mentally it was tough, but somehow I managed to do this.
So you had some very good, difficult matches. Tell me, what were the most tough matches for you in Puerto Rico?
The toughest one, probably it was playing my friend Fedor in the final.
Yeah. So in the final, you played Fedor Gorst, who is your closest friend here in the U.S. and has been your friend for many, many years. You were junior players together, correct? So now you're playing each other in the final. Did that help you, or did that make it easier or harder because you know him so well?
Probably it was harder to play Fedor because we know each other so well. He knows my game. I know little bit his game. It was special for me to play my friend in the final because I don't know, we both won already. So I was trying just to focus on my game during the match, but it was really
one of the
tough.
things that made it probably easier or more fun is that you were sharing a room with Fedor and Christina in Puerto Rico, and your room did pretty well.
I can say very well, very well, because our room made almost $100,000.
It was a good week for.
It was very, very good week, because even when Christina was playing her final at the World Championship, we were yelling 4-4. It was
4-4 was your room number.
Yeah, 4-4. It was really lucky room for us. Yeah.
Will you stay in the same room next year in Puerto Rico?
That's for sure, 100%.
So now you have this win. You must be even more excited now for the opportunity to be able to travel more. When do you think we'll get lucky enough to see you play in these other big events?
I hope it will be in the beginning of next year. I hope, of course, because it's always tough to get a green card.
Yeah.
So, but I hope I will get it.
Yeah. Well, we hope you get it too, because you're a fun player to watch and you're a good guy, and so we will all root for you.
Thank you, Michael.
The Pro Billiards Series events in Puerto Rico also included a 16-team mixed doubles event, which was claimed by Taiwan's Kunlin Wu and China's Yu Han, and a Challenge of Champions competition between current world title holders Filler, Gorst, and Beato, with Filler claiming the overall crown. Finally, the International Open, which relocated to St. Augustine, Florida, featured a trio of pro events which incredibly saw all three divisions won by the defending champions. Aloysius Yap repeating in the International 9-Ball Open, Mario He winning the International 14.1 Open, and Shane Van Boning claiming the Bigfoot 10-Ball title for the second straight year. A lot going on. I mean, it was actually a pretty busy time in pool.
Yeah, I don't know what the odds of those same guys winning the same events.
Yeah, to have three divisions and all three defending champions win that's pretty astonishing.
Yeah, so you've taken us from the island of Puerto Rico to the sunny shores of Florida, and now here we are, find ourselves in the winter wonderland of the Midwest, just ahead of the Christmas holiday.
I'm still kicking sand out of my shoes.
Yeah, well, buckle up, because Christmas has arrived.
It has. And with holidays just around the corner, we pinned down a handful of top pros, and we asked them about their favorite Christmas memories. You're going to love this.
My favorite Christmas memory is probably from when I was about 18, still living at home, and my sister bought me some real great vinyl tracks for my house music to play out. Then we would go chill out the rest of the day, play music, have a nice dinner, and then in Europe, usually in Holland at least, Christmas is on the 25th, like the USA, but now I live in Denmark, everything's on the 24th. It's like almost religious. But back then it was the 25th, so then in the nighttime we would play a night tournament in pool room Make 5. So you get a great Christmas day, nice dinner, and then go to the pool room, play all night long with your friends, prize money, everything. So those were really great times.
My favorite Christmas memory is probably from my very childhood. I was always believing in Santa. My parents did a good job with that. So I was always running to the Christmas tree, excited at midnight, trying to find gifts, and I always found them. So that's my favorite Christmas memory.
My favorite Christmas memories have been from the young age, of course, when everybody's receiving gifts under the Christmas tree. We have a great Christmas market in the snowy Tallinn, so it's one of the most beautiful in the world. So everybody should visit it. And the later on, I used to stay in Thailand a lot, so it was the other way of Christmas because it's sunny and all that stuff. So yeah, it's two ways.
I have many favorite Christmas, but I think the best Christmas I will have is this year with my daughters and my wife, and it's gonna be amazing, I think.
All right, my favorite Christmas memory was going downstairs when I was younger and finding out that my parents got my brother and sister and I a new pool table that we could play on all winter long.
My favorite Christmas memory is, if I can remember, it would be when I was 2 years old. My grandfather gave me a pool table for Christmas, and that was the gift that I started playing pool.
My favorite Christmas memory is watching my niece open up her presents for the first time.
Yeah, my favorite Christmas memory was when I was young, and we have a dinner with all my family together. So it's something like and I will never forget in my life.
And my favourite Christmas memory was when I was about 4 years old. I can remember it. My dad got me the smallest pool table you've ever, you know, those ones with the little tiny cues and the little balls, and he got me that, and that's how I started playing pool. I got one of them, and then I got one of those tables that you fold up, you know, with the pockets that are sewed like a snooker table. I had one of them for a long time, and then I had like a full size snooker table in my house, and then I came home from school one day and it was gone. The teacher had called my dad and said I wasn't doing well at school, so my dad got rid of it. And that's how I ended up playing English 8 ball. Otherwise, I might have been a snooker player. But yeah, that was my best Christmas gift. Getting a little mini pool table. That's how I became a pool player.
Yeah, my favorite Christmas memory is probably my son's third Christmas this last year. When he got his presents, he was actually like really pumped, really into it, and he was very happy for all of his gifts. So it was amazing. I mean, obviously, I don't remember when I was that young getting Christmas presents and stuff, but I mean, I'm obviously thankful and happy for everything I got. But my son's gifts, and he was so pumped because I will remember that. But it was amazing watching him be so happy when he got his big presents and stuff. It was great.
My favorite Christmas experience, of course, it's when all family is together. Actually, I really like Christmas in US because it feels like Christmas spirit everywhere. Yeah, and yeah, it's so nice.
My first Christmas in America was in 2022, and it's very different from what I used to celebrate New Year back home. And it was a lot of fun. We gather all together, we cook a lot of food, and I cooked some Russian dishes, so it was very fun. A lot of presents. Everybody's giving each other presents. This is very sweet. Something that in my family, at least, we didn't really took that seriously. So it was just the whole spirit of Christmas felt a lot different here than back home.
Now, after asking the pros about Christmases past, we asked them to look ahead to 2025 and share their hopes and goals for the new year.
Obviously, my goals for 2025 would be to win a major event. Like I did this year, I win the Maldives Open and I was third in the World Championships. So that's pretty good, and I hope I can beat those results next year.
My goal for 2025 is playing pretty good. So I'm getting closer to like quarter, semis, finals of majors. So I want to take it one step further and see if I can snap off another major.
2025 goals. It's really tough to say now. You know, I won more than I wanted this year, and that's why sometimes I'm lacking motivation right now in tournaments. So I really don't know. It's tough to say. I have another month to figure it out. So hopefully I find one, but right now it's really tough.
So my goal for 2025 is to play as much tournament as I can, WPA and Matchroom tournament. I hope so, and I hope I will do as better as I can in any tournament. No specific goals, just to play good. And if you play good, you're still gonna do good results.
My goals for 2025 are to win a World 9-ball ranking event and be in the top 10 in the rankings.
And the goal for 2025 would be to try to win a couple big titles, maybe the World Championship, and try to get in a good run for the U.S. Open.
Goals for 2025 is going to travel all around for the Matchroom events and try to qualify for Team USA again. So try to qualify by points, I guess I should say, not because my best friend.
So my goal for 2025 is to get green card, to be able to play tournaments overseas, and of course win the World Championship. Yeah.
For 2025, probably my goal would be just keep enjoying playing pool, trying to not put too much pressure on myself and just try to stay as consistent, and again just try to enjoy and have a lot of fun.
Fun stuff from
Love that
all
piece.
these players.
Yeah,
how about the Billy Thorpe response? You had to love that.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing how many of them got pool tables as kids, and to see them, really turn that into careers is pretty remarkable.
Well, I'll never forgive Jason Shaw's father for giving him that pool table.
Yeah,
I
he
know
should have
that.
stuck with the snooker. Stick with the snooker, son.
It was really good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff.
How about you? Favorite Christmas story?
Favorite Christmas story? Probably when I was, I don't know how old I was, maybe 4th or 5th grade. It was my parents were divorced, so my dad raised me, and that was when the Nintendo had come out. Remember the Super Mario and we had, my dad was kind of on a modest income, and I think at that point in my life I had learned the realities of Santa, but I really wanted this Nintendo, and I wasn't sure if he could pull it off, and sure enough that morning it was under the Christmas tree, and so that was certainly one that stands out. And then now that I'm a father, probably the pretty much every Christmas, but about the time that my daughter was maybe about 5 and my son was 2, and kind of I have video still of them like being at the top of the stairs and looking down at the tree. And the nice thing about technology is I can go back and kind of relive that, so it's still very fresh in my mind. So I got a lot of them, but those two stand out. What about you? I'm sure you've got some great ones. With the Pinozzo family there.
Well, with the Pinozzo clan, it was Christmas morning was, you all had to wait at the top of the stairs until 7:01 before you could come downstairs, and we'd be staying up there from 5:30 on.
Yeah.
But I think one of my most memorables is that my wife played piano when she was young. And so she always talked about wanting to get a piano and play piano again. And so one year I thought it would be really cool to surprise her with a baby grand piano.
Oh.
And the surprise was to get it delivered on Christmas Eve. We were going to her uncle's house for dinner, and I was going to go from downtown on the train, and she was going to pick me up at the train up there. And what I did was I snuck home and watched her leave to drive to her uncle's house, and then I waved the truck from around the corner, and these guys came in, and they came in the house, and I pulled the Christmas tree across the room, and we put up the baby grand piano, and then I jumped in a cab and went to the train station and was standing there waiting at the train platform when she pulled up. And so she didn't know anything of the better.
None the wiser.
None the wiser, and we spent the whole evening at her uncle's house and came back after midnight, so we were able to walk in the house, and I was able to present her with this baby grand piano.
Wow.
And of course she cried.
Yeah, I bet.
And then the next morning, I woke up and heard her downstairs playing the piano, and then I cried because I thought she knew how to play the darn thing.
That's great. I can't believe you had guys deliver that thing on Christmas Eve. That's remarkable. That's a great story.
That was when I was buying it, I said, if you can't deliver on Christmas Eve, I'm not buying it.
That's something. That's
by
impressive.
God, they found a way to do it.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, 2025 is just around the corner, but there's still titles to be determined in 2024. Here's a look at what's coming up over the next month. The Qatar World 10-Ball Cup is going on right now, followed by the Dr. Poole Jacoby WPBA Tour Championship. And then in January, the always entertaining Derby City Classic. So there's still some pool on the horizon we can be excited about. In the meantime, Jason, happy holidays to you and your family.
Yeah, and all of you.
And to all of you. That's going to do it for us. For Jason Bowman, I'm Mike Pinozzo. Have a great holiday. May all your shots be hangers, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2025 on the next episode of Billiards Digest Live.